Welcome, everybody, here inside East Gymnasium as we're moments away from the start of a brand new basketball season here at the home of the Fort Lee Bridgemen. And we are joined by a special guest here on our pregame as none other than head coach Adam Schrager is joining us. Coach, thanks for taking the time here, kicking off a brand new season. Have to have the butterflies in the stomach in game number one. What has been the lead up like to the start of a brand new season here in 2023-24?
Well, just like any year, you're a lot of anticipation. You're just trying to get better each day. We have, of course, some big shoes to replace, so we're just trying to get better each day. It comes real quick in regards to New Jersey high school boys basketballers. Not a lot of practice time, so we're going to just try to play really, really hard and see where we are at the end of the night.
You were making an allusion to that, replacing your two leading scorers from last year in Isaiah Stang and Bem Ogadegbe. What is the identity of this team formed so far in the preseason, or is it still a lot of question marks for your side? You know Devin Zhang, he's been a focal point of your offense over the years, but what have you seen in the preseason from your team of trying to make their own identity this year?
I think we're going to have to play a little bit different. We're probably not as, athletic, maybe, that experience at the guard position. But we have some guys that I feel like can step in and play at the guard position. We've got Max Greenberg, June Best, and obviously Devin Zhang. I think Isaiah Valadez and Guy Vickers will be really important for us. Guys that transfer to us. Fort Lee kid decided to come back to Fort Lee High School as a junior. So for us, he is going to be a real important piece.
Looking at this matchup, you started off with a win at Tenafly a season ago. Coach Kohler obviously runs a great program there. What have you been seeing in terms of your scouting and trying to get familiar with your opponent that's going to kick off a brand new season?
Well, they have very good guard play. That'd be my biggest concern. They're not going to turn the ball over very much. So their guards are going to get them into good possessions. They have some size up front. So we'll have to do a very good job of defending the guard play and then also being able to rebound and finish defensive possessions. This will be a very good test for us on opening night.
And finally, Coach, kicking off your sixth season already here at Fort Lee, back-to-back winning campaigns, really making history the last couple of seasons with your side. Like we mentioned, as much as it's the sixth season, do you still get the anxiety? Do you get that adrenaline rush even from last night getting into play today? What is it like to be the head coach of high school basketball and getting off to a brand new season?
Well, 26 years of doing this, Dan. Always, whether assistant coach, head coach, you're always excited, a little nervous. I really, just kind of hope my guys just play their best basketball. Hopefully we prepared them. Like I always tell them, I've never won a game. The players win games. They're going to have to make basketball plays to win. I'm just going to try to navigate the ship the best I can. But it's the guys on the floor, and we hope, our Jims and Joes can execute tonight. And we've had some great seasons over the last few years. 6 years here. I took over a program that was kind of down. We made the playoffs my first year. Second year we struggled, had some issues. Third year was COVID. The last 2 years we've had some really good teams. We hope to continue that tradition this year as well.
Well, thanks, Coach, for taking the time here pregame, and best of luck, and we look forward to being here for each and every one of your home games this season.
Dan, I really appreciate all you do for high school sports, high school basketball, whether it's football or track or whatever it is. You're an asset to high school sports. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Coach, and best of luck tonight.
evening and welcome to Fort Lee for today's matchup between the visiting Tenafly Tigers and your Fort Lee Bridgemen. Now, for today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Tigers, number 11, Zachary Shamash. Number 4, Yuval Gutman. Number 20, Jake Yanofsky. Number 24, Nick Lewin. And number 12, Dan Regoff. The Tigers are coached by Jeff Kohler and he is assisted by Eric Warrant. And now, the starting lineup for your Fort Lee Bridgemen. Number 1, June Best. Number 4, Guy Vickers. Number 5, Maxwell Greenberg. Number 10, Devin Jeng. And number 13, Isaiah Valdez. The Bridgemen are coached by Adam Schrager and he is assisted by Tandy Mushandu. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Let's play ball.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to East Gymnasium in Fort Lee, New Jersey for the tip-off of a brand new season of Fort Lee Bridgemen basketball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisic. So glad that you could join us for continued coverage of varsity sports action here at the home of the Bridgemen. And we are proud to also tell you that we have garnered some teammates along the ride here. Some now new proud sponsor of Fort Lee Athletic Broadcasts, the law office of Deborah Pico, located here in Fort Lee, as well as Sedona Family Restaurant, located in Cliffside Park. We thank them for their partnership here to help bring these broadcasts to you. So a brand new season about to tip off here. Fort Lee taking on Tenafly. Fort Lee will be in their black with the orange numerals outlined in white. Tenafly will be in their white with the orange numerals, so teams with identical school colors going head-to-head. Jeff Kohler is the head coach of Tenafly, while Adam Schrager in his sixth season in charge of the Bridgemen. And the opening tip is won by Tenafly, and we are underway here from East Gym. These two sides met a season ago in the regular season debut. Fort Lee came away with a road victory 60-48. Devin Jangs was on fire in that one. He erupted for 24 points on 6 made threes. Let's see if Jang will have a big game tonight. There's the first shot of the season, missed by Tenafly, hustling And the offensive board to keep this possession alive. Another long jumper, and Karams out to another offensive rebound. Jeff Kohler's Tenafly Tigers, by their standards, a down season a season ago, 11-12 overall record, lost in the first round of the North 1 Group 3 sectional playoffs against Riverdale. Made it to the semifinals of the Bergen Invitational Tournament. That's stolen away by Greenberg, and now giving it off to one of the newest players on this roster in number 4, Guy Vickers. Fort Lee is denied entry, and still we remain scoreless in the early goings here. More than a minute gone by from a nice and raucous East Gym. Tenafly picking up the dribble, rotating around the perimeter as now it comes back up top. Jake Yanofsky feeding down low. Regev lost possession. Vickers hustled for the loose ball, tried to get it to his teammate, but actually was deflected out of bounds. Last touch off of Isaiah Valdez. June Best, Guy Vickers, Max Greenberg, Devin Jang, and Isaiah Valdez, the starting 5 in black here tonight for Fort Lee. That's a turnover. It's going to lead to a breakout the other way for the senior Jang, and Jang opens up the game with the first main basket for either team. A bad entry pass leads to the points there for Fort Lee. Pull-up jumper from 17, no good. And again, offensive rebound, but another interception, this time by Greenberg. Greenberg trying to go coast to coast. Regev with a block of the rim. Follow-up inside by Vickers. His shot no good. Tenafly tries to save it, but they step out of bounds on the baseline. Possession will stay with Fort Lee. 5:55 left to go here in the first quarter, and a 2-0 lead in a low-scoring start to this 2023-24 season. Can't give Jang any sliver of daylight. Tenafly knows that from last season. He's deadly from 3. Vickers swishes in that jump shot. Guy Vickers, who transferred in from Bergen Catholic, getting his first made basket of his Fort Lee career, 6'5" junior. Here's another long-range shot, no good this time. Regev once again crashing the offensive boards, leading to another opportunity. Now a reach-in foul will be charged against Fort Lee. First foul of the game for either team. 5:21 left to go in the first quarter. 4-0 lead for the home team. That foul was against Valdez, his first. Team's first. Regev, 6'5" inside. They dump it down low to him. Valdez, the smaller player, getting on him. Double team comes. Good hustle play, throwing it underneath their own rim, and that leads to the layup inside. And the first points of the night for Tenafly and Yuval Gutman. Gutman averaged 9 points a game last season for the Tigers. Gets his first 2 points of this season. 4-2 lead now for Fort Lee. Greenberg picks up the dribble, outlets it up top to Jang. Drang trying to weave the offense to Greenberg. Hesitation dribble, left-hand floater, no good. Rebound could not be corralled inside. That leads to the pickup there by Vickers. He's got a quick 4 points in the first quarter. 6-2 advantage now for Fort Lee. Already approaching the midway portion of the first quarter. Not a lot of stoppages, only one combined foul between the two sides early on here. A lot of missed shots and turnovers, as you come to expect in an opening night. Working around the perimeter. Gutman getting into the corner. Trying to weave his way through. Yanofsky dumping down low. Regev up top. Good positional defense by Fort Lee, and it leads to the eventual strip inside. A turnover forced by the Bridgemen as Fort Lee goes down the other way. Jang cutting through. He gets blocked to the rim. Regev has been looming rather large in the early goings of this game. He's been dynamic on the boards as well as getting rejections inside. Inbound upcoming now for Fort Lee. 3:37 left to go. Up top straight away, there's a three, no good, off the back rim by June Best. Offensive rebound was trying to corral inside and underneath the rim. Possession error will keep it for Fort Lee with 3:28 left to go in the first quarter. Low-scoring rock fight right now, 6-2. Missed assignment, open three in the corner, no good. Fight for the loose ball, rebound underneath, and Bruden comes away with it. Another opportunity inside. Fort Lee crashing the offensive glass. They just can't get it. There's a lid on the rim right now for both teams. Both teams have been also outstanding on the offensive glass. Here's Devin Chang trying to get it to Vickers. Vickers has 6 of the team's first 6 points, and there's a blocking foul underneath against Tenafly. Trying to go for more of a flop move there. Trying to draw an offensive foul potentially against Vickers. Instead, the foul was charged against Tenafly. That foul will go against Aiden Goldschneider. Goldschneider, that is his first, team's first. Under 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 6-2 lead for the Bridgemen. Vickers tries to take his man off the dribble. Picks up the dribble. Now handing it back. Here's a step back jumper from Best. No good. Karam's out in space. Last touch off of Tenafly. So this long sustained offensive possession for Fort Lee will continue on with 2:44 left to go in the first. Vickers in the near corner. Takes his man on the baseline. Bottles up and into the turnover. Gets called for the travel. Turnover will give the ball back over to Tenafly with 2:40 left to go in the first quarter. Fort Lee coming off a season ago where they finished 14-12 overall. Finished second in the Big North American Division behind Dumont and lost in the first round of the North 2 Group 3 sectional playoffs against Summit. Trying to weave their way back here on offense as Tenafly. They have been ice cold from the field. Here's a shot from deep, and that time it finally falls. A three-point shot canned that time by Jake Yanofsky. Cuts that deficit down to 1, 6-5. As we approach the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. And a little bit of a hand check call as Fort Lee was trying to possess on the far baseline. 1:56 left to go in the first. That foul will go against Yanofsky, his first, team second. Trying to inbound it all the way down the floor to Jang. Got it tipped away. Hustle on the play there by Fort Lee, and that's a tough one. A lot of floor burns that time. Outstanding hustle by Christian Bruden. Bruden, another transfer that came into Fort Lee from Bergen Catholic, making his Bridgman debut here tonight. 5'9" sophomore. Feeding underneath. Hook shot fouled in the act of shooting. That time was Goldschneider, and Aiden Goldschneider will head to the line to shoot 2. The 5'10" freshman guard making his varsity debut here tonight on opening night. That foul went against Devin Jang. Jang's first foul. Only the second team foul for the Bridgemen. And Aiden Goldschneider gets his first 2 points of his career at the foul line. Tenafly takes their first lead of the night, 7-6. They've gone on a 5-0 run here as we come up on the final 90 seconds of the first quarter. Dan Long and company, so glad you could join us here on Fort Lee Athletics. Working around, it's Greenberg. Tenafly, such good pressure defense. Vickers inside, pull-back jumper, misses the mark. Fight for the loose ball, but stepping on the baseline out of bounds was Fort Lee as Valdez tried to crash the offensive glass. After leading at one point 6-2, the well is run dry a bit here for the Bridgemen. Last season, Fort Lee averaged under 50 points a game. They were led to a lot of wins because of a defense that also held their opponents to under 50. As that's tipped out of bounds, but last touch off of Fort Lee. Possession of the inbound will stay here for Tenafly. Gutman will trigger the restart on the inbound. As he'll pass it back up top to Janoski. Janoski cutting through the lane, left-hand layup, just left short. Vickers with a snatched rebound. Under a minute now left to go in the first quarter. Jang got it poked away, and they're going to say last touch off of him. So a turnover produced by Tenafly will give the ball back over to the Tigers. Still leading by 1, 7-6, with 49.2 seconds left to go in the opening quarter of action. Gutman with 2 of Tenafly's 7 points in this quarter. Dribbling it up as Greenberg defends. Pregame, countless number of offensive rebounds here in the first quarter. Still has yet to score. Lucas Badakian, number 30, is checked into the game as well as a frontline player, number 30 in white. Another 20 seconds left to go. Again, Tenafly is in the white. Fort Lee defending in the black. Both teams have identical school colors of black, orange, and white. Good pressure defense now by Fort Lee as Tenafly trying to hold for the final shot of the quarter, but they dribble it off the leg, it says, of a Fort Lee player. Looks like from our vantage point, Tenafly might have benefited there. Looked like Nicholas Lewin might have dribbled it off himself. 2.2 seconds left to go in the quarter. Tenafly lobbing it up top. Lewin sets in, fires to beat the buzzer. Would have been good, but just missed it off the mark, and that'll end the first quarter of play with Tenafly on top of Fort Lee by a score of 7-6. As you're watching all the action of Fort Lee Bridgman basketball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel, brought to you by our proud sponsors this season of the Law Office of Deborah Pico, located in Fort Lee, and Sedona Family Restaurant, located in Cliffside Park. Welcome back to East Gymnasium as we're about to get underway with the start of the second quarter. Dan Long, Renee Matisic, and Dimitri Nanis, glad to be back with you here. Broadcast the sights and sounds of Fort Lee Bridgman basketball season opener for both Fort Lee and Tenafly. Off the screen, jumper halfway down, but rattled in and out that time for Lewin. No one picks up Greenberg. He just sets in, fires from deep. That caroms out into the corner, out of bounds. And that will go back over to Tenafly. A very low-scoring first quarter that saw only 13 combined points between the two teams. Fort Lee raced out to an early 6-2 advantage, but then it's been 5 straight points in this game for Tenafly. Getting right to the rim, but getting fouled in the act of shooting that time was Gutman. And that'll send Tenafly back to the foul line, where they have done quite well so far in this game. Going 2 for 2 earlier. As Gutman will miss on that foul shot. Second shot also no good, so the broadcaster jinxed that time as that went out of bounds. And it will be last touch out of bounds by Fort Lee off of June Best. So possession in the inbound upcoming now here for Tenafly. Works around to Gutman. Pregame drawing the double team. Gutman, extra pass, leads to an open three in the far corner. That time no good by Goldschneider. Rebounded underneath the rim by Best. Now Fort Lee with a chance to once again retake the lead here. Desperately looking for some points despite having this long scoring drought. They only trail by one thanks to their defense and the lack of shot production on the other side for Tenafly as well. Adam Schrager in his sixth season at the helm of the Bridgman program, 54 wins in his 6 seasons. He's led Fort Lee to back-to-back winning seasons, 32 wins over the last 2 seasons alone. Remember the 18 from 2 seasons ago, and the most since 2013. He's trying to rebuild here with a young nucleus, trying to find some new faces thrust into the spotlight here tonight. Jang is not one of those new faces. This is his 4th season on the varsity. Jang pulls up from 3, gets it! Devin Jang, the marksman for the Bridgman with his first 3 of the season. He's got 5 of Fort Lee's 9. Coach Kohler was not happy after that missed assignment defensively, knowing that Devin Jang can shoot the lights out. Goldschneider handing it off now, this time to Gutman. Greenberg pressing out a little further, trying to get a 5 count. Lewin will pull it out. 2 minutes gone by here in the second quarter, and then a reach-in foul against Devin Jang. Had his hand in the cookie jar at that time. Jang picks up the foul. That is his 2nd personal foul. So a problem for Coach Schrager. One of your leading scorers quickly picks up 2 fouls with only 2 minutes in to the action to begin this second quarter. So Jang will have to trek off the court for a little bit. Moved around. Looking for an outlet. Gutman got tied up underneath and gets called for the travel. Kind of lost track of where he was. The real estate evaporated, and then when Gutman had it, he just fell on the floor. Gets called for the steps. Fort Lee's defense has been ferocious so far here in the first half. Bruden looking for Vickers off the screen, but too high and too hot to handle for Vickers. That leads to a turnover. Regev now trying to bring it down low in the post. Gutman open for 3. No good. Tipped away. Greenberg with a hustle play to save back possession. It was kind of 50-50 to see whether or not that would be officially ruled off of the fingertips of Vicker. So Greenberg made sure to save it. Here's Vickers now. Working underneath, try to reverse layup, no good. Getting a piece of it that time was Dan Regev. The senior has been outstanding, using his size and length to full advantage. Trying to feed underneath that time and got tipped away, as that will go out of bounds. Last touch off of number 11, Zachary Shamash, the 6'4" junior forward, who's trying to dive for that one as it goes out of bounds and a timeout on the floor. Again, we're proud to announce we have a couple of sponsors here that'll help bring you the sights and sounds of Fort Lee Athletics on our Fort Lee Athletic YouTube channel. It's courtesy of Deborah Pico, the law offices of Deborah Pico, located here in town in Fort Lee. And then the Sedona Family Restaurant, a proud sponsor of Fort Lee Athletics, located in nearby Cliffside Park. So we thank the law office of Deborah Pico and Sedona Family Restaurant for joining the Fort Lee Athletics team and helping to bring you the sights and sounds on all of these free Fort Lee Athletics streaming broadcasts. 4:43 left to go in the second quarter. Only 3 points have been produced so far in this quarter, that being the 3-point shot made by Devin Jang. Only 13 combined points in the first quarter. That one rattled in and out halfway down for Fort Lee. Regev, just towering over everyone else, picks up the loose ball rebound. Tenafly taking their men off the dribble, no good. Regev crashing the offensive glass, kicks out to Lewin. Lewin for three, no good. Another offensive rebound by the Tigers. They're hustling to the loose ball Karams. Yanovsky getting it down low now to Regev. Regev, turnaround hook shot is good. And the big man is on the board here for the first time this evening. And has knotted up the score at 9-9. Past the midway point of the second quarter, and this is a first quarter type score. 9-9 your game. It's cold outside. It's cold here in the shooting category for both teams. Jump stop there by June Best. He got tied up on the play. Possession arrow will keep it on offense for Fort Lee. And the Bridgemen wearing their black with the orange numerals. Tenafly in the road white with the orange numerals. Fort Lee taking it off the dribble. Pull-up jumper. This time, silky smooth finish by June Best, his first points of the evening. 11-9 lead now for the Bridgemen. Back in front against Tenafly. Straight away, three-point shot. No good. Tipped around, and that shot is eventually taken in underneath by Bruden. Greenberg handing it off. Best, he just knocked down the shot, giving it over to Valdez. Underneath on the near baseline. That time, Vickers' shot off the mark. He had 4 points early in the first quarter. Has yet to score here in the second. Under 3 minutes left to go until halftime. Tenafly has had their success over the years against Fort Lee. Prior to last year's loss in their opener at home, they had won the last 4 consecutive meetings against the Bridgemen. Trying to come here on the road and get back to their winning ways. Greenberg gets the loose ball rebound on the air ball shot by Lewin. And Greenberg with a bullet pass to no one goes out of bounds for the turnover on the far sideline. Possession will go back over to Tenafly with 2:20 left to go in the second. And Fort Lee is doing this without the services of Devin Chang, their 4-year varsity player, because he just picked up his second personal foul of the first half. I wonder if we're going to see Chang back in before halftime. Goldschneider. Regev does his head and shoulder fake, drives towards the rim, misses it, but he fouls his own miss. He might be approaching 10 rebounds in his first half alone. But the defense swarmed to him again and now gives back possession with under 2 minutes left to go in the first half for Fort Lee. Here goes June Best. 5'10 senior getting a chance as the starting point guard this year. Vickers, the junior. Nice mid-range jumper, it's good. Vickers with a game-high 6 points now here for Fort Lee. His first points of the second half, he's got 6. Devin Jang has 5. Only 3 Bridgemen have scored. Yet Fort Lee now with their largest lead, tying it, 4-point advantage. Dribbled out of bounds, last touch off of Yanovsky. That's another turnover for the Tigers. 1:23 left to go in the second quarter. Fort Lee now with a chance to maybe garner their largest lead of the game. Greenberg and Fort Lee crossing by the timeline. Jump stop across the lane, getting it back up top to Valdez. Valdez picking up his dribble. Shamash doing a good job defensively, but Vickers there. What a debut here for Fort Lee. The junior with back-to-back buckets. He's got a game-high 8. 1 point off the first half total so far here for Tenafly. Largest lead of the game. It's up to 16-9 now for Fort Lee. Pull-up shot. Nice looking shot there by Aiden Goldschneider, the freshman with 4 points. Vickers, with that last shot was a 3-point shot. Up to 9 points in the first half. What a debut for number 4 in black. Devin Jang has come back onto the floor in the final 10 seconds. He has to avoid what could be a costly offensive foul. Jang got stripped on his way up. And they're going to say that also was a foul. And that'll send Devin Jang to the foul line, shooting 2 with only 6 seconds left to go before halftime. Second personal foul of this first half against Aiden Goldschneider. Now a chance for one of the best shooters on this Fort Lee team to add to this lead late in the second. Jang, nothing but net on that first offering. Devin up to 6 points in the half. Second foul shot is no good. So Jang goes 1 of 2 at the line. Chance here for Tenafly late in the half, going right to the rim. And getting a piece of it maybe inside was Vickers. And he has made an emphatic debut here back home after transferring from Bergen Catholic. Vickers, the junior, with a game-high 9 points in the first half of play, as that'll send Fort Lee into the break with a 6-point advantage at 17-11. Stick around, fans, as we'll be back for the start of the second half as you're watching all the action exclusively here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody, inside East Gym here at Fort Lee High School as we're moments away from the resumption of play in the start of the second half. Fort Lee on top of Tenafly by a low score, a 17-11 margin. Both teams struggling mightily when it comes to knocking down shots, but the defense has certainly been there, and the crashing of the offensive glass. Both teams have been hustling in the season opener for both teams in the 2023-2024 season. This is our season opener as well as our broadcast coverage of the winter sports season here at Fort Lee Athletics. And we're proud for the sponsorship of two new members of the Fort Lee Athletics team. The law office of Deborah Pico, located here in Fort Lee, as well as Sedona Family Restaurant, located in Cliffside Park. They are helping us bring you the sights and sounds for free of Fort Lee Athletics action here on YouTube. We'll be broadcasting the sights and sounds of Fort Lee boys and girls basketball coverage, as well as Fort Lee Bridgman wrestling this winter here from East Gym. Taking a look at the stats from the first half of play, leading scorer for Tenafly is Aiden Goldschneider, the freshman, with 4 points in his varsity debut. Jake Yanofsky with 3, Dan Regev with 2, and Yaval Gutman with 2. Leading scorer in the game is Fort Lee's Guy Vickers, the new big man for the Bridgmen, 9 points, including 5 points in that second quarter. Devin Jang with 6 and June Best with 2. Get underway in the start of the second half. In the white is Tenafly. In the black is Fort Lee. I don't know if this means that going forward this season that all teams are going to be wearing their darker colors at home rather than the home white that is the tradition. Shamash inside and lost his 6'3" advantage by keeping the ball low there and nearly turned it over. Both teams with identical school colors, but again, Fort Lee wearing the black here at home tonight. Yanofsky handing it off to Regev. Tenafly scored 7 points in the first quarter, only 4 in the third, and they get off to a good start here with the give and go underneath to Zachary Shamash. Shamash's first points of the evening. Now Devin Jang will dribble it up. Jang across the lane. A tough angled shot, and he kissed it high off the glass and good. Devin Jang with his first points of the second half. He's got 8 points. Again, he had a historic performance a season ago, 24 points, knocking down 6 3-pointers in the process to go along with 5 assists. Jang is the leading scorer that has returned to this Fort Lee roster. He averaged 9 points a game last year as the team's third leading scorer behind Isaiah Stang and Bem Ogadegbe. Off the screen, wide open look for 3 and knocked down there by Nicholas Lewin. Lewin's first made 3 of the game, only the second made 3 all night by Tenafly. So now the points are starting to come here at the beginning of this third quarter. Jang got away from his defender, thought about the 3, trail pass, wide open teammate, Best just couldn't knock it down. Regev towers for the rebound. Here's Lewin now. Motioned up top. Gutman getting it over to the far side. Yanofsky, and he'll swish it. Foot on the line, that's a long 2. And those shots starting to fall now. After a very cold start to this game for Tenafly, the Tigers claw their way back to within 1 at 19-18. And they bring the full court pressure as well. And that time it's going to be a violation against Fort Lee, and a turnover gives possession back over to Tenafly. It was a 6-point lead at the break for Fort Lee, but Tenafly with a chance here with the main basket to even take the lead back. Shamash getting to Lewin. Lewin trying to feel it. Almost rattled in his second made 3 of the quarter. Pregame with another offensive rebound. He is definitely going to be at double digits soon. Here's going to be an open three. Tenafly just can't get it to fall. Stripped away, last touch off of Tenafly. Possession going back over to Fort Lee, but all the little hustle plays now being made by the visitors. Coach Kohler will have his team execute the full court pressure now, trying to speed up Fort Lee a bit. Long shot that time by Vickers is defended and knocked out of bounds. Last touch off of Fort Lee as that goes out of bounds. Vickers was trying his luck from three, knocked down 1 3 so far in this game. If you're Coach Schrager, you want your big man down low. Gutman down low on the baseline. Shamash missing on the baseline jumper. Rebounded by Fort Lee, and now the Bridgemen cross the timeline and get it back on offense, leading by 1, 19-18. Isaiah Valdez, one of the starters from a season ago for Coach Schrager's Bridgemen. Handing off to Devin Zhang, who gets that bounced away from him by Nicholas Lewitt. Just been an extra step right now in this third quarter in favor of the visitors. They have been a motivated side. A little more juice and energy right now. We'll see if Fort Lee can get it going again. Here's June Best. Really a two-man show in this game offensively for the Bridgemen. It's been Devin Zhang and Guy Vickers. Try to feed down low to Valdez. Deflected last touch off of him. Got to go out of play for another Fort Lee turnover. And Tenafly once again is going to be in position here to potentially take back the lead as we're closing in on the midway point of quarter number 3. Gutman got fouled. Are they going to say that he was in the act of shooting? Looked like he was going to be trying to dish that one off, but it looks like instead it's going to be a foul in the act of shooting. That will send number 4 to the line, shooting a pair. You have Val Gutman, the 5'11 senior guard, who had 9 points, 4 assists, 3 steals a season ago in the loss against Fort Lee. As Gutman will knock in that foul shot to tie the game up at 19 all, and now a chance with a made foul shot to give Tenafly back the lead. And he does just that. And a timeout is going to be given to Coach Adam Schrager, as Coach Schrager will want to talk things over with his team. They've squandered a 6-point halftime advantage and now trail here 20-19. Proud sponsors of Fort Lee Athletics, the law office of Deborah Pico, located here in town at Fort Lee, and Sedona Family Restaurant, located in nearby Cliffside Park. Won't have to wait long, fans, to see another edition of Fort Lee boys basketball action, as we'll be back for the second game of the season this Saturday at 1 p.m. Fort Lee playing host to Westwood. You can watch that game in its entirety live and also anytime on demand for free. Fort Lee taking on Westwood this Saturday at 1 p.m. here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Tenafly was held to a grand total of 11 points in that entire first half. They have scored 9 points in this third quarter alone. Valdez getting it over to Vickers. Vickers has been quiet since the 9-point eruption in the first half. Step back 3, again too long on the shot. Being defended that time by Zachary Shamash. Fort Lee frigid from the field now. Wide open 3, no good, off to the left side. Valdez rebounds that one away from Vickers, his own teammate. Where's the offense going to come from for Coach Schrager's side? Step back 3 straight away. High degree of difficulty, and that hit out of bounds on the baseline. That's an ill-advised shot there for the Bridgemen. They could have worked that offense a little longer and a little better there. Tenafly is frustrating. Fort Lee is being held to only 2 points so far here in the third, as Bruden has come on and is an on-ball defender. Regev, deep shot. For the big man, no good. crashing the offensive glass inside was the guard, Gutman. And now it's going to be, it looks like a jump ball, and maybe there's an initial foul also called. So the official on the near side immediately put his hand up before the other two could say jump ball. So after it looked like it might be initially a jump ball situation, it looks like it will be instead a foul charge against number 21, Christian Bruden. Bruden's first, team's fourth. Tenafly has yet to commit a foul in this quarter. Gev getting it around the horn. Yanovsky trying to feed inside. Shamash bobbled it, but it looked like he might have been fouled after they were trying to feed him underneath. And that'll send number 11, Zachary Shamash, to the line to shoot two. Shamash knocking down the first foul shot. 3 points, all of which coming here in the third quarter. Fifth team foul of the quarter, meaning bonus time here for Tenafly, and Shamash knocks down a pair. He's got 4 in the game, and now Tenafly has stretched their advantage to 3, 22-19. It's been all Tigers here in the third quarter. Greenberg spinning out of trouble. Getting it back up top to Devin Jang. Jang trying to feed on a hard bounce pass. Vickers underneath the rim. Too tough to handle that time. Another turnover for Fort Lee. And boy, has this game changed dramatically here. Bridgman were in control heading into the halftime locker room. Now it's been all Tenafly coming out of the gate here. This baseline jumper on the near side, another hustle play. Tenafly trying to call for the timeout. They get the timeout granted to Coach Kohler. No, they're going to say no timeout. It's going to be instead possession going back over to Fort Lee. We were blind from our vantage point, blocked out by a lot of the spectators here, so we had no chance of seeing whether or not that was fully out of bounds or a timeout was given. So the correct call was made. Possession given back over to Fort Lee. Greenberg feeding Vickers inside, and Vickers telegraphed that one. Regev just saw it and read his eyes. Gutman, a little out of control, still maintains the possession. More turnovers than even shot opportunities in this third quarter for Fort Lee. Jang trying to procure the possession. Tie up, and Jang comes out of the pack with it. Tries to push the pace, and there's going to be a foul whistled against Tenafly on the floor. And for the Tigers, with 1:59 left to go in the third quarter, that is their first foul of the second half. Greenberg with the outlet up top to Best. Best over now to Valdez. Valdez now back to Greenberg. And that's going to be an offensive foul whistled against Greenberg. Drawing the charge that time was Yuval Gutman. Greenberg's first personal foul of the game. They've made the change this season in high school boys basketball to mimic what they've been doing at the girls level, of just 5 fouls allotted to each team in the quarter, and then the bonus situation. And there's a travel call against Regev, and Tenafly shuffled his feet. Leads to the turnover and gives possession back over to Fort Lee. So when a team reaches their 5 fouls, then it's 2 shots in the rest of the quarter. No longer the 10-team fouls and getting to single bonus at a 7-team foul of the half. Full court pressure is really stymieing Fort Lee. They just get it over in time. Valdez with the extra pass underneath. Vickers, reverse layup is good. First 2 points of the second half for Guy Vickers. He's up to 11 points in the game. Pulls Fort Lee back to within 1 of Tenafly, 22-21. As we're closing in the final minute of the quarter. Vickers with a steal. Vickers tries to go coast to coast and does so. A quick 4-0 run by number 4 in black. 13 points in his Fort Lee debut for the junior. 23-22, Bridgman back in front with under 50 seconds now left to go in the third quarter. High off the glass, no good. Good defensive work there by Vickers, could not save it. As that time going high off the glass was Yanofsky, but a little too high. 40.8 seconds remaining in the quarter. Tenafly inbounding it underneath the Fort Lee rim. Regev was left by his lonesome and one. Finished with the left hand. Miscommunication inside. Nobody matched up against the tallest player in white. And Dan Regev now with a chance at a traditional three-point play. 4 points on the night. Regev, 6'5" senior, looks even taller than that with his thin frame. He's been unstoppable on the glass with his rebounding prowess and now caps off a three-point play. 5 points now for Regev. And the three-point play gives Tenafly a 2-point margin, 25-23. 39.3 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Full court pressure being administered. Valdez does a good job of handling the pressure himself. Hands it over to Jang. Tries to set the screen. Closing in the final 20 seconds of the third quarter. A third quarter that's been dominated here by Tenafly. Jang pulls up from deep. Contested shot, rebounded underneath by Goldschneider. Under 10 seconds left to go. Tenafly with a chance to extend their lead. 5 seconds left to go in the quarter. Gutman, up and under move, no good. Left it short at the rim. Vickers with a rebound underneath. And that'll end the third quarter of action with Fort Lee now trailing by 2 heading into the fourth quarter here at East Gymnasium. It's Tenafly 25, Fort Lee 23 as you're watching all the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter. Dan Long, Renee Matisich, and Dimitri Nanis. Thanks for joining us for our debut of the winter broadcast season here. Fort Lee boys basketball in their season debut here at home against Tenafly. It's been a good one, 25-23. Tenafly in front as we head to the start of the fourth quarter. Fort Lee in their home black, Tenafly defending in their road white. Fort Lee trying to defeat Tenafly in their season opener for the second straight season. They've led by as many as 6 points in this game. Tenafly had a very good third quarter, though, as Best's shot is off the mark. They outscored Fort Lee 14-6 in the last quarter. They trailed by 6 at the break. Tenafly took the lead back. Goldschneider, hesitation dribble, missed it, short on the near right side. Rebounded underneath by Greenberg. Here's Devin Jang in the open floor. Jang with 8 points, drew a lot of the contact as he was shooting. And that'll send Devin Jang to the foul line, shooting a pair with a chance to tie this game up at 25 all. Jang 1 of 2 at the line here tonight. Jang rattles in the first. He's got 9 points in the game. Jacob Greenberg onto the floor for the first time, number 15 for Fort Lee, as Jang rattles in a pair. Devin Jang now with 10 points, so 23 of the team's 25 points for Fort Lee have come from two players, Guy Vickers and Devin Jang. Goldschneider, drive and dish. Good ball movement here for Tenafly, trying to operate off the ball. Goldschneider across the lane, left-hander falls. Nice looking move there by the freshman. He's up to 6 points in the game. Tenafly back in front, 27-25. Greenberg got it knocked out of bounds. Possession will stay here with Fort Lee. Greenberg trying to do the inbounding, and Goldschneider got his hand in the passing lane and forced the turnover. So Aiden Goldschneider making valuable minutes here. The freshman in his varsity debut. Lewin behind the screen, high arcing three, rattled halfway down, in and out. Rebound gets over now to Valdez. Max Greenberg handing it off to Devin Jang. Jang, step back jumper, left it short. Air ball goes out of bounds, and possession will go back over to Tenafly. Special thanks to our Fort Lee sponsors, the law office of Deborah Pico, located in Fort Lee, and Sedona Family Restaurant, located in Cliffside Park. Tenafly operating without the services of their leading scorer from a season ago, Riley Benowitz, 6'2 senior, with his hand in a cast. He was outstanding for them a season ago, knocked down 52 threes and averaged over 16 points a game. They're trying to get it done without him. Lewin, straight away, again, rattled in and out, but crashing the glass, this time with a tip-in, is number 11, Zachary Shamash. Shamash with all 6 of his points since halftime. Now a steal forced by the Tigers. Goldschneider, the recipient, and it's going to be a timeout called by Adam Schrager as Tenafly has pushed the lead now to a game-high 6 points. And Fort Lee wants to talk things over, 31-25 here in the fourth quarter of play. Goldschneider with 8 points, 4 of which have come in this fourth quarter alone. Tenafly trying to start their new campaign off with a win. They will be taking on another Big North American Division foe at home in their next game on December 19th as they'll be playing host to Dwight Morrow. They actually, fans, start off their season with 3 straight games against the Big North American Division, which is the division for Fort Lee. They will then also travel to Cliffside Park on December 21st. So Coach Kohler's side with their largest lead at 6, 31-25. Less than 3 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. There's a 2-point Tenafly lead heading into the fourth. Vickers handing it off. Into the game as Fort Lee trying to look for a spark. There's a long-range, high-arcing shot, no good. Rebounded underneath, but stepping on the baseline, out of bounds goes Fort Lee. Now Tenafly trying to create a little more distance between themselves and the Bridgman. Straightaway 3, no good. Tipped out by Shamash. As Padakian was the man who missed the 3 and tried to hustle for the loose ball. Vickers, off-balance shot, a leaner, followed his own miss with the offensive board. Now gets it to Valdez. Shamash has done a nice job of making life a little more difficult for Guy Vickers here in the second half. After Vickers had 9 points in the first half, only 4 so far in the second. Jang weaving his way through track, and that's going to be a reach-in foul against Goldschneider. Goldschneider, that is his third personal foul of the game. Team second. Again, you get to 5 fouls, you get 2 shots the rest of the way. New rule change to boys basketball at the high school level this season. Adapting kind of what they do at every other level outside of college basketball and men's college basketball. We've reached the midway point of the fourth quarter. Fort Lee needs to get things going here. Jang took his man off the dribble and tried to roll it in with a little English on the layup attempt. He will head to the line to shoot 2 and picks up another foul against Tenafly. Badakian picked up the foul, his first, team's third. Devin Jang, 2 of 3 at the line here tonight. Knocks down and Jang with 11 points this evening. Jang, again, money at the bank. Getting it done at the foul line. He has all 4 of his points in here in the fourth quarter at the charity stripe. 4-point lead for Tenafly, 31-27. Fort Lee trying to put a little full court pressure on as well. Vickers stretching out his defense against Janowski close to midcourt. Handoff is to Gutman. Fort Lee being urged by head coach Adam Schrager to extend the defense a little bit further and further than they were the last couple of possessions. Vickers showing the great athleticism, staying close with the guard, moving his feet, and is that going to be a bump foul against Vickers, though? It looks like it will be, and it will be the first foul of the fourth quarter against Fort Lee. For Guy Vickers, that is only his first foul committed all game long. This has been a well-played game between both sides. Neither team has really been hacking and whacking here in the first game of the season, as is the case normally with a lot of times in the regular season debut. Good screen led to the open floater, but Janowski can't get it to fall. Here goes Devin Jang trying to push the pace. 3 minutes left to go in regulation. Fort Lee down by 4. Vickers on the far baseline. Shamash bodying him up. Vickers lost possession. Turnover, force. Good defense there. 3 different Tigers surrounded Vickers, who coughed it up on the baseline. Basket back up top to Goldschneider. Goldschneider with a left-hand dribble. Bodied up, fall away, jumper, it's good! And the freshman has come of age here in the fourth quarter. He's got 6 of his game-high 10 points. And it's now a 33-27 lead for Tenafly. Aiden Goldschneider, the freshman, with 10 points. Bruden got through the defense, tried to leave it off for Valdez, who lost it and was very fortunate that he did not have that turn off his leg and out of bounds. Looks to be a little water on the basketball that even the official was trying to dry off there, and a timeout's taken. 2:09 left to go in the fourth quarter. Tenafly trying to find its way on the road to a road victory. They lead Fort Lee by a score of 33-27. 10 points for Aiden Goldschneider, leading scorer in this game for Tenafly. Leading scorer overall in the game is Fort Lee's Guy Vickers, 13 points for the big man, but he's yet to score in this fourth quarter. Devin Jang has added 4 points to his total. He's got 12 points as the second leading scorer for Coach Adam Schrager's Bridgman. The time starting to become a concern here for Fort Lee. Only 2:09 left to go in the game, and the deficit is 6. Bridgman trying to make the most of their offensive opportunities in this game. Only 2 made threes all night long for Fort Lee. Jang will inbound it. Gets it back up top. Best has a bullet pass, intercepted, anticipated beautifully there by the defensive Tenafly. Under 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. Double team now swarming as Fort Lee trying to produce a turnover of their own. Vickers sealing off the entry pass inside the lane, but Tenafly is content with just running some clock. Fort Lee is forced to foul. Only their second foul of the quarter. Again, they're going to have to foul 3 more times to send Tenafly to the line. Vickers picks up the foul, his second, team second. Bruden in the backcourt, forcing the pass out of the hands of Janowski. Goldschneider now passing it back up top to Gutman, and quickly the foul is administered by June Best. Third team foul, so with 1:36 left to go in the game, Fort Lee again is going to have to foul quickly twice more to stop the clock and force Tenafly to make their foul shots in order to pull off this win. Inbounds comes to Lewin. Lewin again is fouled immediately, and now Fort Lee with no more fouls to give. That's the fourth team foul of this fourth quarter. And it looks like that is also the fifth personal foul against June Best. So now that last foul that had to be administered by Fort Lee has been, and now it will send number 23, Aiden Goldschneider, to the foul line to shoot 2. 1:31 left to go in the fourth quarter. 33-27 lead for Tenafly. Goldschneider's first miss at the foul line. He's been one of those focal points in this game. 6 points in the fourth quarter for Tenafly. Now give him 7. 11 points in this varsity debut for number 23. Timeout taken. 7-point lead. Now the largest lead of the game for Tenafly. Goldschneider, a 5'10 freshman guard. Growing up before everyone's eyes here in the fourth quarter. 7 points. He has outscored Fort Lee in this quarter himself. Fort Lee has been held to only 4 total points in the fourth quarter, yet are still within striking distance. They're down by 7, but time really starting to dwindle away here with 91 seconds left to go in this season opener. Tenafly led 7-6 after 1. Fort Lee led 17-11 at halftime. But then Tenafly outscored Fort Lee by 8 in the third quarter to take a 25-23 lead into the fourth. And they've stretched that lead here to 7. Fort Lee has struggled mightily to score, both teams, quite frankly, in this very low-scoring opener. This is a score more reminiscent of a half rather than an entire game. Greenberg underneath, tried to reverse the layup, got stuffed by the rim. The follow-up attempt inside by number 21, Christian Bruden, and Bruden got fouled and will try his luck at the line now, shooting 2 with 1:06 left to go in the fourth quarter. Shamash got called for the foul, his first, team's fourth. As Christian Bruden now with his first points of his Fort Lee career, the 5'9 sophomore. Bruden rolls them both in. 2 points for Bruden and a timeout taken by Coach Schrager in Fort Lee, stopping the clock with 1:06 left and a 34-29 lead. Again, we'll be back on the air on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. as Fort Lee will be hosting Westwood in a boys basketball game that you can see here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Then next week we will have our debut of the girls basketball season on December 19th as Fort Lee is going to be welcoming the Thunderbirds of Mahwah High School. Following day we'll have the first wrestling match of the season for the Bridgemen. And don't go anywhere over the holidays as after Christmas we will be your exclusive broadcast home for the Jack Riley Holiday Tournament, as we've done the last couple of seasons, as we've been bringing you each and every game of that 3-day tournament, 12 games in total to be played here at East Gymnasium on the campus of Fort Lee High School. So a lot on tap for us in the coming days and weeks ahead. Out of the timeout, Tenafly will inbound it. 34-29 lead for the Tigers. Bruden bringing the full court pressure. And now the foul is given by Fort Lee, again because they're in the bonus. That will send Tenafly to the line shooting 2, but will stop the clock with 1:01 left to go. Gutman with 4 points in the game, missing on the first foul shot. That keeps hope alive here for Fort Lee. Still a 5-point game, trying to make this 6-point margin. Gutman missing on both, but an offensive rebound collected by Yanofsky. That is a backbreaker. If you're Coach Schrager and the Bridgemen, you got exactly what you had hoped for. 2 missed foul shots. With the clock stops, but then racing in was Jake Yanofsky. And Yanofsky gets the loose ball and gets his team back to the foul line to shoot 2. That time, Gutman makes the most of his opportunity. So after missing on a pair, knocks down the first there. He's got 5 in the game. Gutman swishes a pair. He's got 6. Lead back to 7, 36-29. Coming up on 50 seconds left to go. Fort Lee needs to get hot quickly here, and certainly from deep. Jang straight away from deep. No good. Great defense once again, this time by Goldschneider. I think since that opening 3 that Jang hit back in the first half, the assignment, the defense, the detailed oriented scouting report has gotten to him. He has never gotten a clean look from distance. Everything that he has been putting up has been with defenders flying in his face at all different angles. That foul shot is knocked down by Yanofsky. 6 points for Yanofsky, as it looks like Tenafly is going to be coming here and returning the favor of what Fort Lee did a season ago. Bridgman won on the road at Tenafly, and Tenafly trying to come here and win. 38-29, 9-point lead for Tenafly over the Bridgman. Fort Lee has been starved for offense all game long, and a reach-in foul against Tenafly is going to send Fort Lee back to the line. It's time to shoot 2 here as they've reached their limit in the fourth quarter. Double bonus. The 5th team foul against the Tigers. All 5 of Devin Jang's points in the fourth quarter have come at the foul line. 13 points now for Jang, ties his teammate Guy Vickers for the team lead. Jang swishes home another one. Devin Jang has been great at the foul line here tonight, and there's a foul in the open floor by Greenberg. Fouling Lewin after that home run pass and the full court pressure. Not a lot of time came off the clock there, 26.7 seconds left. 38-31, and Tenafly, once again, they just hit their foul shots. They'll go home happy. As Lewin does just that, he's up to 4 points in this game. Leading scorer for Tenafly is Aiden Goldschneider with a game-high 11 for him. Devin Jang with 14, the leading scorer for all players. 40-31. Valdez try to go across the lane with a Euro step, and it's swatted away from him. That's touched by Tenafly. Inbound upcoming now for Fort Lee. Up top to Vickers. Vickers with a foot on the line. His shot is short. Shamash with a rebound. Coach Schrager calling off the dogs here as Tenafly has come to East Gymnasium and will be victorious in their season opener by a final score of 40-31. So Fort Lee falls in their season opener here to Tenafly. Again, they'll be back in action on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. against Westwood in a game that you could see here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Leading scorer here today for the Bridgemen, Devin Jang with a game-high 14. Guy Vickers with 13 in his Fort Lee debut. Aiden Goldschneider led the charge with 11 points and a balanced scoring effort on the other side for Tenafly. So that'll do it for our broadcast coverage of game number 1 of this 2023-24 basketball season. Special thanks to our new proud sponsors of Fort Lee Athletics, the law office of Deborah Pico, located here in Fort Lee, as well as Sedona Family Restaurant, located in nearby Cliffside Park. So for our camera operator, Renee Matisich, and our producer, Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long from Fort Lee. We'll see you on Saturday for Fort Lee versus Westwood here on YouTube.